In the name of Allah, my name is Turiolai Amin. I'm from Afghanistan. Today, uh, I will be discuss. I will be discussing deontological ethics focused on Immanuel Kant's categorical imperative. I will apply Kant's three formulation of the categorical imperative to real-world ethical scenario, which is the act of submitting an assignment written by the artificial intelligence has one's own work. This analysis will choose whether this action is morally permissible according to Kant ethic theory or no. And first of all, sorry. And first of all, I will briefly explain deontological is an introduce Immanuel Kant's moral philosophy. Then I will explain the concept of the categorical imperative and its three formulation. After that, I will apply each formulation of the real world scenario involving AI writing assignment. Finally, I will conduct with a moral evaluation based on the content ethics. Uh, Deontology is a moral theory that is based on duties and rules, so rather than consequence, according to deontology ethics. An action is morally right or wrong based on whether it's follow rules of duty. This means that some actions are considered morally wrong even if they are produce good outcomes. Immanuel Kant is the most influential philosopher associated with this ethical approach. Immanuel Kant was an 18th century German philosopher and founder of deontological ethics. Kant believed that morality is grounded in a human reason, not emotion or personal desires. He argued that all rational beings are capable of organization moral duties through reason, and therefore moral laws must apply universal to everyone. The category imperative is Kant's central moral principle. It is a command that applies to all rational beings without exception. Unlike hypothetical imperative, which depend on personal goals, the categorical imperative tells us what we morally ought to do, regardless of our desires or consequence of our actions. The first formulation of the categorical imperative is called the universal law formulation. It states that we should act only according to maximum that we quote a will to become universal law. In this simple term, before acting, we should ask ourselves whether it would be acceptable if everyone. In this scenario, the maximum would be I may submit work written by AI as my own assignment. If these rules were universalized and everyone submitted AI generation rule, the purpose of education would collapse. Learning, evaluation, academic integrating would lose their meaning. Therefore, according to the first formulation, submitting AI written assignments has one's own is merely impermeable. The second formulation of the categorical imperative statement that we must always treat humanity, whether in ourselves or others, has an end and never merely has a means. This means that people should never be used only as tools to achieve personal goals. Each personnel has inherent dignity. And this, when a student submit an AI writing assignment has their own, they deceive the instructor is doing so. The instructor and academic, uh, sorry for this, sorry for that. And when a student submit a written assignment their own and deceive the instructor is doing so, the instruction and the academic system are used merely as a means both grade. This violation the requirement to respect others' rational being. Therefore, this action is morally wrong, according to second. The third formulation is known as a kingdom of ends. It desires as an ideal moral community is in which all rational beings act according to universal moral law. In such a community, individual respects one another and act honestly and responsibility. Academic dishonesty, such as submitting AI written work, has one's own undermines minds trust within the educational community. If such belief were accepted, cooperation and mutual respect would disappear. This action cannot be justified with a moral community governed by sheer ethical principle. Therefore, it evaluates the kingdom of the end of formulation. Utilitarianism evaluate action based on their consequence, such as a maximum helpfulness of the benefit. In contrast, content ethics focus on a moral duty and attention, even if using AI leads to good grades to reduce stress count, would still consider it of immoral if it violates moral duty. Based on the all three formulation of the category imperative, submitting a written assignment has one's own it is merely wrong. It cannot be universalized, it rates other merely has means, and it undermines the moral community according to Kant. Honesty and integrity are morally duties that must be respected. This does not mean that AI is always unethical. AI can be used responsible as a learning tool, such as for brainstorming or understanding concepts. However, replacing one's own work with AI-generated content violate more duties and academic integrity. The main resources used in this presentation include Matthews and Hedrick Introduction Philosophy Ethics, Immanuel Kant's groundwork of the philosophic of the moral and the Combs School of Business Video and Deontological Ethics. These sources provide their theoretical foundation for this analysis. Thank you for uh, taking your time. I hope we will have a, great score for this and have a good time. Goodbye.